Hello to my wonderful art students. This will be our last lesson before we move into summer break. I cannot believe that I haven't seen your faces in more than 2 months. I miss you so much and miss our time in the art room. But I am very thankful that we can still be together here in my studio from home and that we can share in a lesson together. And I actually have a surprise guest during the lesson today. So before we begin, I want you to remember that this is a time for you to express yourself in your own creativity. Making art is finding our own creative space and our voice and expressing it through art. So no matter what, your art is always amazing and you get an A+. So if you don't have the supplies that I have, that's okay. Just use what you have. I'll be using just white paper and colored pencils today. And if you have crayons or markers, do what you can and work with what you have. I can't wait to see what comes out of your imagination today. This month, we are focusing specifically on child prodigy artists. Those are artists that are under the age of 10 and they produce meaningful art to the level of an adult expert, even though they're children. They haven't had any formal training. They just kind of know how to do it and it comes out amazing. So they have mastered highly complex techniques at a very early age. So they've also been recognized for achieving success and acclaim at an early age. So it's going to be a lot of fun to learn about our artists that we will be focusing on today. This lesson is for 3rd grade, but you are welcome to do any of the lessons I post from kindergarten all the way through 5th grade for March, April, and May distance learning, whichever ones you want to do. So I'm going to get into our learning. Today, we are going to learn about Akaine Kramarik. She grew up in Illinois and began drawing at the age of 3. At the age of 8, she had completed her first 5-foot-long oil painting and was also featured on the Oprah Winfrey Show. When Akaine was growing up, she was very, very poor. They lived in what she describes as a dirty shack with no television, no radio, no friends or relatives. Her background was severe financial hardship until she was first discovered by Oprah Winfrey and featured on her show at just the age of 8. Akaine didn't know who she was because they didn't have TV. She started having vivid dreams at a very young age and felt the urge to express them in her art. She was so surprised at the impeccable images that she had in her head and that she was able to express them in a physical matter. She began sketching on anything she could find and had drawings scattered all over their dirty little shack that they lived in. Her parents noticed her drawings and she was so good, so they saved up to buy her a sketchbook and a pencil to help her explore her newfound talent. That's when she started taking her art very seriously. When she turned 7, she gradually moved into pastels and started painting on large canvases that were much bigger than her. That's when she started waking up at 3 o'clock every morning to gather her thoughts and begin creating on one of her masterpieces. It is the kind of discipline that has driven this artist from virtually nothing to a renowned success. She says, "It is the most peaceful time for me as I can slowly get lost in the world that I'm painting. It really is the best thing I do every day, and I don't plan on changing my routine anytime soon." She has done this every day for over 10 years. Would you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to do art and get better and have that quiet time? I think that's really beautiful. Many in the art community refer to her as the binary wonder kid. But Akaine remains humble and grateful for all of the support that she has received over the years, especially from her parents and her 4 brothers. Her family is very close. They spend a lot of time together outdoors in nature. She believes the emotional and financial hardship that she has endured over the years has been worth every little bit. Akaine has published best-selling books and paintings which are valued in the millions of dollars. She has lived in and explored more than 30 countries, and they decided to settle down and live in Queensland, Australia on the Gold Coast with her family. She hopes to open an art gallery and an international arts academy for aspiring artists. Her desire is to give back to the community, inspiring people and helping others to find their talent. She said that she was lucky enough to meet such great people during her journey, so she hopes that she can do the same for others. If you want to look at other art pieces by Akaine, you can continue making more art with her after our lesson and search for her online. She has a beautiful website with all of those pictures that I posted on our learning inspiration piece. And she also has an Instagram. She has a lot of different things that you could go search out on the internet. I will put a few links in the comments if you want to watch a really great video just about where she is now. So this is the piece that we're going to work on today. It is called Life Without a Leash. Akaine has used complementary colors here, which are the greatest contrast of colors on the color wheel. They are opposite one another. She has also used tinting and shading, where tint adds lighter white colors and shading adds more black, to change the saturation or how pure that color is. So the purest saturation comes straight from the pencil or straight from the tube. And we will also mix two colors. We will add in lighter colors and darker colors to change the saturation of the color. So think of what supplies that you might have at home to recreate this piece yourself and gather them together so that we can get started. I'm going to use colored pencils and white paper. Remember, the cool part about us having class this way is that you can hit pause anytime that you need to, and you can go ahead and catch up when you're ready. If you need to take a break and go walk around for a minute, that's fine. If you need to get a snack and come back, or you just want to look and watch the video for a little while, that's fine. There is no rush, and take as long as you need. Once you have completed your beautiful masterpiece, I want you to sign it really big with a lot of flourish to show not only that you have finished, but that you are really proud of the work that you have done. You have worked really hard on it, and we want to see your name. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel so that you get notifications during the summer if I post something else for us to do and we can stay connected. And we do want you to post your finished piece on Instagram or Facebook on the school page or the PTA page with the hashtag Rooted Oak Meadow or Saddle Up Mavs would be the two hashtags. So even though we can't be together in the classroom right now, we can continue to have fun together by sharing our art. Just like when we're in class, we always say we encourage ourselves and we encourage our friends. So I want you to do that with one another, and we can stay close in our community together. So let's go make some art. Now we're going to move into our guest that we have today. We have Emma here with us today. You want to say hi, everybody?
Hi.
She's going to help me with our lesson today, that we are going to work on the Akaine puppy that Emma picked out for our lesson. So here we go. I'm going to sketch it out again. If you do not want to sketch it out again, I had a snafu when we started and I did not hit record and we didn't notice that. So I'm going to do a quick sketch to explain to you guys, or if you want to do a sketch again, you can. So the first thing we always
I'll try to do it again.
Okay, that'd be great. You're such a good sport. Okay, so we want to start with an arch, kind of, this is going to look like a piece of pizza. So that you have a little bit of space at the top. And then we're going to want our triangle to come down almost past half of the page. So I'm going to put my finger there so I know this is almost half of my finger. So I definitely want to come down low enough with my sketch. I'm going to make a dot right there and then come down like a piece of pizza just to get my initial shapes in. When you're sketching, you want to sketch lightly. I'm pressing harder so that you guys can see my lines like we do at school on the overhead, but when you are sketching, do it very light where pretty much only you can see it.
Because like the first time I watched this, it was really hard for me to see what you were doing.
So is this dark enough for you to see it?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, I can press a little harder if you want me to. So with the sketch, we need to start working around that. So this will need to be a little more rounded as I come join it here. I'm going to look at the shape of his face and make my pizza bottom a little bit more rounded where his mouth will go. And I will end up using an eraser to take out my sketch lines, which is why you want to sketch lightly so that your lines are not hard to remove. And then, just like when we do a self-portrait, I want to divide his face in half, very light. I'll press hard, you press light. I'm going to divide his face in half so I can look at symmetry. And his face is in thirds. He has his forehead area to his eyes, then under his eyes to under his nose to his mouth. So we will make some thirds sections here. So about here, let me see if I can divide this out with my hand. I want to get our face into thirds here, just like when we do self-portraits at school. Our puppy.
Yep. I'm making a self-portrait of a puppy.
Of a puppy. So we will do his nose first. That was kind of a fun part to do. So we have the top line here. We make a smaller line down here and join those edges together.
Last time, did we do the ears first?
We'll get to the ears. It's okay. And then put some little circles in. Always try to think of the shapes we have. So we have the line that comes down from the nose, and then we make his big come down like a U shape. Just look at everything as shapes and sketch lightly, so if you need to do any erasing, you can. So big U shapes here on the sides. And then we come down with another U inside the line that we already have for the outside of our pizza. And then inside that, we'll make our tongue line. Then we'll come up here to do his eyes. I want to have this gap here and then make his eyes be the same. So it's kind of like an upside down triangle. I have one line that's coming here and I'm going to match it up on this side. So I know they look the same underneath his eye. Then I'll do the outside of each one, kind of an arched triangle. And then bring it rounded a little bit like this here. One of them is higher than the other one, so I need to probably bring that down some. Once I've done that, you can take out your thirds lines if they're showing.
My new one already looks better.
Good. We had a snafu on the first go round and I forgot to hit record. My assistant didn't notice. So now we have the pupil part and the iris that we want to add in. So I'm going to come down here with some round shading. And then the part for the pupil. And I want to leave this little white space here, and remember that it's where the light seems to be reflecting off his eyes.
Nope, that looks creepy.
So
I'm gonna make human eyes inside the dog.
So the next thing we want to do
Oh,
is
that actually.
add some of this just dimension around his nose that defines his nose area. I'm just gonna lightly, I'm gonna press a little harder so you can see where I'm putting these in. Just some lines so we know this is where shading is gonna go. And I'll put some right here. So this just gives us some facial dimension. These are things we really want to either shade light or dark. So when we get to his ears, we come out first from the top part down at an angle. Sketch lightly in case you need to erase some. Come down at an angle. To about half, it's going to match up with about the top of his nose. His ear comes down to about the top of his nose. And then you'll come all the way into the cheek and up. It could be a little bit longer ear. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Sketch in his ear. This one has a little, do you want to have the curve in it? Can you see that? It looks like a very loose S. And then we'll bring that up to his face. Like that. And then adding his body in is pretty easy. What are you doing?
Messing with this.
Okay, so then we'll do his body here, and from his ear, just curve around till he comes off the page.
Yeah. Is this supposed to be, oh, it's supposed to be round.
You're doing a great job. So I'm going to set my eraser aside. I don't really need it now. And my pencil I'll just have as a backup over there. So we're going to move into our colored pencils now. We have his basic face shape down, and then we're going to start working with our lighter yellows first. So I'm going to get all of my lighter yellows in front of me. If you are watching the video, just pull out any colors that you can see in the dog, and we'll work lightest and darkest. So I see yellow, I see orange, I see some peachy color in here. We have blacks and browns and grays over here. So I have a white, and then his tongue is like this little pop of pink color. So we will work through all of these different pencils. So start with your lightest yellow, and then everywhere you see yellow on the puppy, that's where we're going to start adding dimensions of yellow first. So I'm going to go through and use yellow anywhere that I see yellow in this picture. I'm going to start shading in lots and lots of yellow, all in the base background, which I think pretty much everything you can see the light is hitting the puppy coming from the left. So the shading is going to be more on his back end, but everywhere the light is hitting him, we want to have some good bright background to go over. Going to shade in everywhere I can see a lot of yellow, which seems to be in his ears. All down his ears. That's all the base color. I'm trying to look underneath all the colors and see what the base color is. So this guy is pretty much yellow. In here too, he's got a lot.
And some on his belly.
And on his belly and right here around his nose. not all of it. There's more on this left side than the right side. So that lets you know the light is really hitting from over here and shining under that. He's got some under his eye up here. So I'll put a little bit of light there and some over his eye here. So anywhere that you see yellow, we want to add in that light yellow over here on his coat. And around his mouth right here. And all this nose on this side and a little bit under this side. Coming up around. And then under his, he has like a beautiful like stripe of this yellow golden hair coming down. So continue using your yellow anywhere that we see all these patches of yellow.
Can it look a little different?
It can. I was thinking it might be fun to color him in with lots of bright pinks and purples, but that can be your second go round for a puppy if you want to go back in and do the lesson again. I'm going to scoot my paper up here maybe just a little bit so I can see where there's some yellow showing in his body.
I think I got a lot of the yellows.
Back here, there's not so much. There's just a little bit, but
I made it a lot.
I like it. Okay, so I'm going to move to the next scale of yellow I've used. I'm going to take the next yellow down that I have. So I have 2 more yellows. Let me just give some variation and see if that doesn't really do anything. So I have this a little bit of an orange yellow that does show up. So put some of the orange yellow in on top of where we have done our first batch of yellow to give it some different color. Gives it a 2-dimensional look. And so you can see some of this orange yellow in his ears in here. I can come in here and start to add that in, and we have the yellow light coming through. So you definitely want to keep the first yellow showing and then allow some of this next yellow to layer on top of it in some spots while the lighter yellow is still showing through. And we'll keep doing this layer by layer. I think I can give this orangey or yellow some undertones in here around his head.
Why did I grab red?
I don't know.
I'm crazy. Come on, fit in here.
I'm going to use this orangey yellow underneath on his face all over to give it that color. Sorry to get it.
I think this is a good color for the brownie orange.
have most of my guy colored in with something under the base of 2 different kinds of yellow. Are you finished with yours?
Yeah.
Okay. The next thing we'll move into is into our orange family of colors. So pull out anything. I have a peach and I have 2 oranges. So I will start with the peach. It's the lightest. And I see some peach color here in his ear. Oh, I should move it over in front of the camera view. So I see some peach in his ear right here. Do you see that? There's right here and around this part in this shape here. It's kind of like a U shading down on his face. And maybe some here, and then back on his back end, I see some more peach back here. Not all of him has it, just these certain areas. So I'm going to move this down and see if I can't see this better right here.
My dog is a mixed color dog.
I think he looks like a golden retriever. Do you think so?
Mine may not look like that at the end.
It's okay. Whatever he looks like is good. So
Mine's gonna be like a mixed color dog.
So these hairs are going to really show up. So you want to make sure you're going in the direction of the hair in the picture. So I'm adding the hair in the same direction that the hair is growing in, with this peachy color. We'll just continue adding different layers upon layers into our puppy. This peach comes up here around this face. So when we work from lightest to darkest, we can continue adding these great layers of color. See how the peach is a little bit on half of his nose because that's still the side that the light is coming in from. Like those little defined hairs that are coming over like that gives that appearance of his nose being arched. So if you make U shapes like this, Emma, it makes his snout start to show up in an arch. And then
That's cool.
This part straight will make it look like his face is going down. And here it kind of curves in, so I'll start to curve mine in right there so it gives the appearance of that snout rounded. And I see a little bit of peach right here and his peach over here, so I'll add that in on the side. And this is a little bit of a curvy arch under here to define his body. Now, do I see any more peach? I think I can do some hairs this way, just longer. Coming off. So I can still see the yellow coming through that we initially did. So can you see how that's blending together? The different colors, the yellow and the peach coming through. So we want to keep that peach coming under that yellow. So I keep a band of yellow here. I don't want it all the way in there because we want the yellow band on his chest to show up. And then back here on his back end, I see some peach colors over here. So I'm just going to do some shading this way. To define that hip.
My dog color. My dog's color eyes are blue.
Your puppy's eyes are blue?
Uh-huh.
What's your puppy's name?
Its name is not what I'm gonna say, but it's what its breed is. A mixed Labradoodle.
I have a mixed Labradoodle. Have you seen?
Mine is actually a mixed Labradoodle.
I see some more peach right here.
Mixed Labradoodle.
Very cute. So everywhere we see the peach, leave that yellow showing up. And I made his little hind leg start here with an arch. And I've got this little shape heading in back here. So he's got some definition beginning. Okay, so now I'm going to put that one aside and take my next orange and go in where I see some more orange. Probably more in his fur down here. And look, a lot more orange on these sides.
My dog's face is a lot more brown than the bottom.
Okay, our puppies don't look the same. So we want to make sure we're making hash lines that you pick up your pencil and go down in a line, pick up your pencil and go down in a line. So it looks like hair now, not scribbling, so that the hairs start to show up. So can you see my hairs starting to show up on my puppy? So I want to continue with pick up your pencil, pull down, pick up your pencil, pull down. So you get lines of hair coming in now. We'll start to really define the hair. And there's some hair coming out from under his mouth into the yellow to make that band of bright yellow. So can you see my yellow here still coming in? How's yours looking?
Not that good.
Let me see. Looks good. So anywhere we see orange, you just want to do hash lines now so that you have it look more like fur and hair on top of the yellows that we've done earlier.
How did socks get here? No.
Did you move into browns and stuff?
What?
You already move into browns, or are you staying with me in the colors I'm in?
Not really.
You're not staying with me? This is just like you in class. Always super far ahead of me.
Well, I just saw the color.
You see the color, you're a natural born artist. I would never stifle that. It's as long as you keep working light to dark so you can see these colors starting to come through.
I'm trying to do what she's doing.
What'd you say?
I'm trying to do what you're doing.
You're doing great. Okay. So I have my orange in. I think I'm going to move into my brown. I really thought I had more browns than this. I do. I just didn't pick them out. So I'm going to work from my lightest brown into my darkest brown. So do you see here, he's got a lot of brown up on his head. He has brown in his ear and on his...
My dog has a whole head of brown.
That's perfect. So this allows me to get in here and start defining a lot of the shape of his face because he has brown around his eyes and defining his cheekbones and his snout. So I'll use this brown to really come in and start to define his features. Some hair coming up above my original sketch line. Remember, if you sketch lightly, you won't have so much of this pencil lines show up like I have.
Mine is just colors. That's why it's called a mixed labradoodle.
It's a mixed labradoodle?
Yeah.
We've got this around his eye.
Do a little bit of black.
Keep on going from lightest to darkest to add in all the definition in his face.
I'm adding little bits of black.
He has some of this like golden yellow in his eye. Did you notice that? Oh, you made yours with blue.
No.
Did you make your puppy have blue?
Yeah, mine has a blue eye.
That's fine. Your puppy
It's a blue eye.
can have purple eyes if you want. It's your puppy. The most
Or
important
it can have,
is making...
or its skin cannot look like skin.
My guy is looking like a goat. Which
Mine does not look like a puppy's hair.
our uncle on the phone the other day that goat means greatest of all time. You know that?
No.
Goat stands for greatest of all time.
Oh, wow.
G-O-A-T.
Now I'm kind of just going in with orange.
And I'm adding brown up under here, starting to darken up some of these real shaded darker areas, adding in darkness. Kind of fun doing a doggy portrait instead of a self-portrait.
Yeah.
You could practice these little guys all the time.
Like tomorrow I can practice
That'd be great.
drawing. Now I'm just trying it because I made all the lines like yours. So now I'm just trying to make it all like it. So it looks the same.
Good.
So all the skin looks the same.
So everywhere that I see dark, I'm starting to add in these darker browns. Anywhere I see dark, and I'm still leaving the yellow showing in the areas that are lighter.
I need more yellow. Yellow.
on the phone with me and help me to pick out my art.
Yours looks so realistic.
It's getting there. Just stick with me on the shading. Going lighter to darker and looking at the picture where you see it keep getting darker. That's where we just keep adding in.
Mine probably looks the opposite of the picture, but
I think it's going to be great.
I don't care.
You're doing wonderful, and it's a beginner thing. So as you get the hang of what to do, then you can keep on practicing and getting better at your technique.
Yeah, tomorrow I'll probably bring a lot of paper.
I think that'll be great. Will you send me your pictures? Have your mom send them to me so I can see?
Yeah.
We all just keep practicing and we'll get better and better at our art.
Yeah.
Creativity is a lot of fun. It's a good stress reliever.
Are you gonna keep doing videos through the summer?
I don't know. I was thinking maybe I might do a few in the summer, not by grade per class, but just for fun things for kids to do. I thought that might be fun, so we'll see.
Stop.
Some brown into his yellow eyes. Do you want to do some more with me? We'll have to have everyone like the video if they want to have more art together in the summer.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and do the blue with you. The background.
I'm not there yet. I'm still going to my darker browns. Adding in more and more darker browns. I'll just keep getting him darker and darker in these dark shadowy areas until I get down to black.
And I'm just gonna keep putting away my pencils that I don't need.
So do you understand how this is working, that we keep shading from light to darker so you can get the definition in? And just keep looking at it on your...
So like if you're using purple, blue, and pink, you would do pink
you have a purple,
blue to purple.
Are you going to have a purple, blue, and pink puppy?
Yeah, that would be cool.
It would be cool.
I may do that.
I'm actually painting the puppy that way.
The background on the picture, it just looks like one shade of blue.
I think it's kind of a light blue, some white, and some like aqua, which I don't really have an aqua colored pencil, I don't think, for me. I don't know if you do, but.
I do, kind of. This, and I have this, and I have this, that. So, and I have this one.
Do you remember learning about complementary colors in class? That they're the opposite of each other the wheel?
Kind of.
So you can use something to make something pop out. Orange is the opposite on the color wheel.
Yeah.
So when we have these orange colors coming up next to the background of blue, it makes the puppy really stand out because it's a complementary color on the color wheel. They look good together. Work the opposite colors. Okay, you doing with your art?
Good. Highlighting the eyes.
So I'm going to move into black to get some of
I'm gonna make a bow tie.
and start getting some of this here. The very darkest level of shading. Yeah, we have moved from our lightest yellow, and this is our last stage. So we don't want to add too much black. We just definitely want it to be in the areas that need shading to create a base. Anywhere that you see it get almost gray to dark black, that's where we want to add this in. And inside this eye is pretty dark right there. Remember those two little white dots? We want to make sure to just leave where the light was reflecting in his eye inside of his pupil. This black doesn't look all the way black. I may have to see if I can find something even darker than this. He looks like he has long eyelashes. That's really funny.
My dog looks like he's sad.
He does.
Kind of, not really. Well, kind of, yeah. He looks sad because of his face.
Isn't that neat, though, that you can create so much expression in art like this?
Yeah.
So on his nose, there's this little spot of white. So I'm going to try not to put it in there.
What?
And what are you doing?
I'm making a bow tie.
Are you not making a puppy anymore?
No, I'm making a bow tie for the puppy.
How cute.
So I'm cutting it out because I did it on a separate piece of paper.
So I'm going to get the nose all colored in, and I really do need to find a blacker black here. So I can fill, there we go.
What's a blacker black?
Well, the black that I picked initially was really not that black. It was pretty light, so it wasn't really showing up that
So
much.
it was like a brown.
Yes, it was like a very, very dark brown, which turned out to be good. Then I didn't make his nose too dark on the first go round. Think about this, Emma.
Bow tie.
A bow tie for your puppy. That's so cute. Did you already do your mouth and everything?
My what?
The mouth of your puppy?
Well, his mouth is, well, this is what it looks like. His mouth is like right there. So, wait, let me.
Did you do his tongue pink or what?
That's what it is.
It is. Oh,
It's like that.
Very cute. He looks very sweet.
And then that's his bow tie.
He's gonna be a sweet.
His puppy face. The puppy. The puppy.
What you guys can do as you continue working on your puppy, keep going through shading into all of the darker areas so it gives him the definition. His face really fills in well.
Ah, he's cute.
And the pink tongue. We'll give him a pink tongue. Maybe I'll do a couple of different tones of pink.
Ah, that's cute.
Is that cute? And then he's got a little bit of a shadow that comes across. There's some red coming down the center of his tongue. It looks like divide it. And then he has the shadow, right?
Do I not have any pink?
How can you not have pink?
Pink pin to the rescue. Gonna have a glittery mouth. A glitter tongue.
So you could keep working on this and take a break and then come back to it and work on it again and again, just continuing to work with the different values of each color, how it shades in and what it looks like. You could continue working on this for a long time to get your puppy to be exactly what you want him to look like.
I'm trying to figure out which color is the most like the one on your screen. Found it.
Do a little bit of shading so it looks like shadow coming down of his mouth.
My bow tie, so cute.
Let me see.
Inside the bow. My bow tie. I'm gonna do
So cute.
the dot. I'm gonna do the dot in the middle. I'm gonna do purple.
That's a great idea. So you could continue working on this over and over, adding in more dark areas and adding in more light areas, just to continue the definition. I think I've got everybody going really well with the start of this.
Now the bow tie's finished. Right there, I kind of started. That's the color I'm gonna do for the face. I'm gonna do that color. And then for the background, because that's the lightest blue I have.
Adding in more brown on top of the black until you get all of the levels of shading that you want. But it's a puppy puppy. Oh, we didn't do the background. Did you paint your background already?
Well, all I did was I did that first little bit that I showed you of to test out what color of blue I was gonna do, but I didn't do the rest of it.
I'm going to shade mine in real quick. It's popped out because when you have opposite colors on the color wheel, blue and orange are opposite one another, it's going to make all the oranges in this puppy stand out. When you're starting a sketch, what's the first thing you should do? When you're looking,
You should find a shape.
yes, start looking, yes ma'am, start looking for the shapes. within that picture. If you see circles and triangles, and lightly sketch them out to get the basic picture in first. And then you can go in and make the details more defined. But lightly sketch in the shapes that you see first. And look how much he pops out now. So when we're done with our art, we sign it.
Yeah. Put our name and our age. I'm going to use a black mark to sign my name.
So when you sign your name, you want to have it have lots of flourish. You've worked really hard on this, and you want to show that you are finished and you've worked really hard. So I always sign my name really big and pretty. There we go, and we're finished. All right, Miss Emma, thank you so much for being here today and helping me do this wonderful art project. I am so glad you were with me. What do you like about it?
I like about mine.
Yes.
The bow tie.
Can you hold it up for me and let me see? Oh, he looks so good. Good job. So we want you to share your art, and your friends can share their art, and we will all give each other lots of kudos. So remember, everybody, as you are looking at your art, have your parents take a picture, and we want you to post it on Instagram or Facebook with the hashtag SaddleUpMavs or hashtag RootedOakMeadow, and make sure to like this video and subscribe to it, so if I add any more classes during the summer just for some fun things to do, you guys can come and do them with me. So I miss you, and I cannot wait to see you in the fall at school again, I hope. Sure miss seeing you guys. You miss seeing your friends too, Emma?
Yeah. Bye. Thank you for letting me do this. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. I'm so glad you were with me today. Thank you, Emma. Bye, sweetheart.
Bye.